So in this video, we're going to be talking about complex numbers and simplifying them. So what are complex numbers? These are numbers that are made up of real parts and imaginary parts. So the real parts would be any numbers from negative infinity to infinity. In simpler terms, any numbers from, you could say, negative 2, 0, 1, 10. These are all real numbers. Imaginary numbers are numbers with I in it. So we will be simplifying numbers with I in them, the imaginary parts. So what does a complex number look like? This would be a number in the form of a plus bi, in which we would have, like, an example would be 3 plus 4i. So this is our real number, and this is the imaginary part of the number. So when simplifying complex numbers, there are a few things that we need to understand. One thing you need to know is that I is equal to the square root of negative 1. In our case, we would never use this. So I squared, which we're going to use the most, is equal to negative 1. I cubed is the same as I multiplied by I multiplied by I. So this becomes I squared, which is negative 1, multiplied by I. So we'll get negative. And then I to the fourth would be I multiplied by I multiplied by I and multiplied by I. So this is negative 1 and this is negative 1. Negative times negative is positive. So this is equal to 1. So this is what we need to know. I squared equals negative 1. I cubed equals negative I. And I to the fourth is equal to 1. So this is what you need for this video. So how are we going to simplify I to the 6th? So over here, like we said before, I squared is equal to negative 1, I cubed is equal to negative I, and I to the fourth is equal to 1. So we're going to focus on I squared because this would be the easiest for us to do. So let's start. I to the 6 is literally 6 i's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. How many I squares do we have? If we had to group them into twos. So this would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this is I squared. So squared is negative 1, so negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. So in this case, it's negative 1 multiplied by negative 1 multiplied by negative 1. So I to the 6 is equal to negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 times negative 1 would be negative 1. I to the 11. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many I squared do we have? Because we know I squared is equal to negative 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, and this is negative 1, right? Because I squared is equal to negative 1. So this would give us negative 1 multiplied by negative 1, multiplied by negative 1, multiplied by negative 1, negative 1, and I. Remember this I? So that's that I there. So in this case, well, I to 11 would be negative times negative is positive, times negative is negative, times negative is positive, times negative would be negative. So it will be negative 1 multiplied by I, which would give us negative I for I 11. And this would be our answer. So what do we do when we start working with numbers that are very big? Numbers like I to the 25. How would we do it? We're not going to write I till 25 because that's going to take up a lot of your time. So here's something that we can do. So I will write this again. I squared is negative 1. I cubed is negative I. And I to the fourth is 1. And of course, we have I itself. So what we're going to do here is divide the power by 4, and then we're going to work with the remainder. So in this case, it's I to the 25. So 25 divided by 4. So this would give us 6, remainder 1. Okay, so I to the 1 is what's remaining from I to the 25 because we divided that by 4. And we know that we see that I is I to the 1, which is just equal to I. So that would be the answer. And the reason why we're dividing by 4, if you had to ask, is if I had to draw a circle for you just to explain it, we would have 1, negative 1, I, and negative I. So on this, okay, my lines are not straight, but on this circle, we only have 4 quadrants. So we only have 4 here. We have 1, I, minus 1, and minus I. So whichever numbers we get, it would either be one of these 4. So let's try that again. So let's try I to the 112. Okay, so 112 divided by 4 would give us 28. Remainder 0. So in this case, it's I equal to 0, which is just 1. So your I is just 1. And the last one will be I to the 277, let's say. So 277 divided by 4 would give us 69, and then remainder 1 again. So I to the 1 would be equal to just I. And the last question would be I to the 43. And this is because we only did I to the 1 and I to the 0. So in this case, we'll say 43 divided by 4, and that would equal 10 remainder 3. And what we're gonna do, we'll say I to the third, or I43 is equal to. So I to the third. What is I to the third? I to the third is negative I. And that's how you simplify complex numbers. If this helped you, please give this video a like, subscribe for more math tips, and share this with a friend who's struggling with complex numbers.